There have been discussions of bringing the controversial narrative of an Australian man who claims to be the hidden son of King Charles III and Queen Consort Camilla to a global television audience. Simon Charles Duranty's statements, which he claims are the result of decades of investigation, have made headlines throughout the world. In the weeks following the Queen's death, the father of 9 said he was approached by top documentary makers from the United States and the United Kingdom. Duranty claimed that they were eager to talk about ideas for making a series or one-off television documentary about his pursuit of the truth. The 56-year-old, who resides in Queensland, Australia, was born in 1966 in Gosport, on England's south coast, and was adopted by a local couple. He states that his adopted grandparents, both of whom served in the royal household, informed him that he was the child of the now King and Queen Consort. According to his study, Charles and Camilla met in 1965, a year before his birth, and kept Camilla's pregnancy a secret with the assistance of the royal family. His allegations, however, are being challenged because Charles and Camilla are widely thought to have met at a polo match in Windsor Great Park in 1970. Mr. Duranty has long expressed his wish for the royals to consent to a DNA test in order to confirm his genetic heritage. On 7news.com.au, Duranty said he is now planning on approaching Netflix to produce his story, which he hopes will force Buckingham Palace to address his claims. I've been inundated in recent weeks with many documentary filmmakers and filmmaking companies keen to share my story, he said. I didn't expect this to happen, but I'm glad it is. I'm considering their offers. Ultimately, I would like to see my story on Netflix, or a similar streaming platform, and will approach them about doing so. I am already speaking on one person, who I trust, and is happy to act on my behalf. I'm taking my case through the proper legal channels, but I know that sharing my story and getting as many people aware of my claims as possible is going to be key to having Charles and Camilla address my claims. I want a DNA test from both of them, as ordered through proper legal means. If sharing my story on Netflix or to a greater TV audience will help do that, then I say let's do it. He also stated that he is planning a trip to the United Kingdom, his first since his royal paternity claims became known. I have built my whole life in Australia, with my wife Elviana and my children, Duranty said. But I'm looking forward to going back to the UK and really ramping up my quest for answers. I've even got radio interviews lined up in Glasgow, Manchester, Dublin, and Portsmouth when I finally get over there. Duranty said he has been grappling with mixed emotions since the Queen's death, but says it hasn't broken his determination. I'll be back to the family court. In his final ruling last time I was before the courts, the judge told me that if I come back with the evidence all nice, neatly stamped, then there's no reason to deny an application for a DNA test, and Charles and Camilla will have to answer that, he recently told 7news.com.au. He added, "It makes no difference to me whether that mountain in front of me is male or female. It makes no difference to me how high that mountain is. I've still got to climb it to prove what I know to be true." So from that regard, nothing has changed. On April 5, 1966, Simon Charles Duranty was born in Gosport, which is close to Portsmouth. At the age of 8 months, he was placed for adoption. His family eventually relocated to Australia. Mr. Duranty alleges his adoptive grandmother informed him he was the son of Charles and Camilla and that both of his adoptive grandparents had worked for the Queen and Prince Philip. Mr. Duranty claims that 1965, the year before his birth certificate indicates he was born, is when King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla allegedly started their intimate relationship. He asserts that King Charles was dispatched on a vacation to Australia 9 months before he was born, and Queen Consort Camilla was missing from the British social scene. In order to demonstrate the similarity, Mr. Duranty frequently placed photographs of himself and his family next to those of the Windsors. Additionally, he thinks irregularities in his birth certificate and name demonstrate his royal ancestry. However, his chronology of events conflicts with official records, which state that the new king and Camilla first met 5 years after the birth of Mr. Duranty. According to Mr. Duranty, Charles and Camilla first grew close in 1965 after getting to know each other during Winston Churchill's funeral in January of that year. However, it is commonly believed that Charles and Camilla first connected at a polo game in Windsor Great Park in 1970. 10 years after divorcing Andrew Parker Bowles in 1995, she wed Charles at last in 2005. For years, Mr. Durante Day has expressed his wish for the royal family to submit to a DNA test in order to establish his genetic heritage. He has also sought legal counsel to support his allegations. He started looking into legal options when a letter he wrote to the Queen outlining his situation did not receive a respectable reply. Following the Queen's passing last month, Mr. Durante Day offered a homage to his purported grandmother. Like everyone on the planet, it would be hard not to be affected and saddened by her passing, he wrote. Since finding out about the loss of my grandmother aka Lilibet, I've been inundated with messages of condolence for the loss. Thank you all for your kind words, thoughts, and concern. The monarch's passing, according to Mr. Durante Day, also signified the loss of his opportunity to pleasantly learn more about his ancestry after she didn't reply to a letter he wrote to her. He promised to keep working to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the new sovereign and his wife are his real parents. As many of you have expressed, my family and I are mourning not just the loss of Her Majesty but the loss of another opportunity to resolve this issue pleasantly, the right way, he said. So, despite the lost opportunity of getting to personally hear her version of events, and the great sadness we all feel at her passing, on a personal and public scale it will be business as usual. The father of 9 stated that he believes the late Duke of Edinburgh, the Queen's greatest love and closest friend, has now been reunited with her and that she is now free to do whatever she pleases in the afterlife without any criticism, like she had her entire reign. She would prefer that we all rejoice and remember her for what she stood for and the improvements that she was able to achieve throughout her reign, he claimed, and not that people feel sorry for her. Mr. Durante Day, whose wife Elviana and kids are Indigenous Australians, said his family would participate in sacrosanct Aboriginal cultural activities during this time of mourning. Together we are all entering a period of what First Nations Australians would define as a sorry business as we all experience this loss, he said. No matter what your feelings, political alignments, religious belief, or convictions, she has been a part of all of our lives for a lifetime. Elizabeth touched each and every one of us. Dear Alviana, the family, and I would appreciate people's understanding and respect that we too are experiencing sorry business, for our own reasons, in our own way. Rest in peace, aka, you are in God's hands now. I know in me I will always carry a piece of you.